everyone, welcome back to River's Edge Chevre. I'm Astria and I have not done a video for YouTube in quite some time. I mean to every day, but I never seem to get the camera out and do it. Anyway, I wanted to show you a part of the milking routine that we do every day. And that is we have our animals all mixed except for our dry does, which are over on that side of the barn, and they are with a buck right now. And so hopefully those are all bred and we'll start having babies February, March. But then on this side of the barn, we have everything from this year's kids up to our old retired ladies. And in that are our milking does. And so every day we have to move them up to the front of the barn and separate out the milkers from the non-milkers. And we do that because you would either have like the same group of goats, probably the ones that aren't milking, going through so they could get grain, and the other ones wouldn't. And then that way we know we've run everybody through the milk line that is in milk, and then we don't have a lot of extra ones going through, which would increase the time and just kind of create chaos. So what I'll do is I'll push everybody up, and for the most part, like the ones that don't get milked, they stay back. And there's just a handful of the non-milkers that go up with the milkers. And then we have this year's kids in the mix. And so they will go into a separate pen after I move everybody up and sort them, where they will get grain and alfalfa and hang out while we do the milking. And we do that so that they have an area where they can get grain without competing with the big animals, but also to keep them out of the milking parlor where they would just cause chaos. And the thing is that they're still small enough that they can squeeze under gates. And if you open a door to let a group of goats into the milking parlor or a group out, you'll have like this whole flood of kids coming in, and they get in the way, they rip the hoses loose, they cause chaos. They'll eat on wiring if you have wiring that they can get to. So this is just a process of the milking that we do every day. So I'm gonna move you over and hopefully you'll be able to see everything. I have you up on top of the alfalfa stack right now. Yeah, so let's get to it. Come on, ladies, let's go to work. Let's go up. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. Let's go up, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. These two. Okay, so now I'm gonna move you guys up to the next barn up and put you on the haystack up there and continue the process. So we have 2 barns, and then at the front of the front barn is where we'll close them in and have the milkers up there. And you'll notice we have this little kind of Goldie tan goat who he has a funny front leg, and he was born with the deformed front leg. And he was one of last year's kids. And he was born really tiny, and it was almost like he didn't have, like his shoulder blade wasn't really attached, and then from the knee down it was like his leg was put on backwards. So he's a wether, and he just gets to live out his life. Let's see. Hopefully you're able to see him. Anyway, he just gets to live his life out here, being a goat with no purpose other than he's Goldie. Yeah. And then over here, you have the buck on the other side of the fence, which is where he needs to be. And you have one of our old retired ladies who we are not going to breed again, who's in heat. So that's what's going on over there. And then we have 2 does. So there's Coco over there, and she's walking this way. And she gets beat up. So we have Coco and Marcia, and I don't make them go up in the front with everybody else because they get beat up by the other animals. So they get to hang out here, and then they come up the return alley, and they come up on their own. They know the routine. They're smart little goats, and they're good, but they're just a little bit smaller, and so they get picked on. So, we're gonna go move you. Okay, so now you are on the alfalfa stack in the front barn. We have the big barn and the front barn is what we call them. And sometimes we, I don't know, that's just kind of how I think of them. Sometimes it's the back barn instead of the big barn. So now I have to move the goats up the rest of the way. And I have 2 gates up there that I'm gonna push them through. And it's funny because goats, they're just like people. They all have personalities, they have attitudes, they have good days, they have bad days. They have days where they're happy to go to work, and they have days where nobody wants to go to work and you have to go through and get all of them up because they're nestled down in the straw and put them up in the front. So, and it's funny because there are certain ones that every day I have to kind of hand lead in, and we have our little routine. And then there's other ones who every day they go in, and then you'll randomly have somebody who's like, no, I'm not going to work. Generally, if they're in heat, they don't want to go up because they want to go hang out by the buck. But yeah, basically we're dealing with like a lot of different personalities. They get cranky, they're happy, they have days where they all have a lot of energy and they're running around and being wild. So it's like wrangling children. Nope, go to work. Go. Hey, where do you go? Come on, shoo! 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 Come on. Come on, sweetie. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. I know. You look old and tired. Come on. Nope. Wrong direction. Come on. Come on. And we do have a handful of animals like this one, who they're still in milk, but they're getting very close to retirement. So probably, they still like to go get their grain, but once we have more animals in milk, we'll start retiring some of our older ladies and replace them with some of the younger animals. And when we retire them, like this one here, she's retired, they get to stay here and live out their lives. I think we feel like it's the right thing to do. You know, they support us, so we take care of them in their old age. So. Come on, you guys, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. 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 Up. Up, 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 up. Come on. Go. Come on. Go, Olive, go, 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 go. Go, go. And putting in individually are always the same ones. They are always the ones who don't want to go up. Okay, so I don't think this is a great angle, but it's about as good as I can get without putting you guys out in the rain or keeping you away from the goats, because I know the goats would chew on the camera. Anyway, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to start finish the sorting. And at this point, for the most part, the non-milkers are out. What you're gonna see is a lot of older goats who milked for 8, 9, 10 years. And so this is their routine. They like to go up. It's something, you know, it's like somebody who's retiring from a job and then they're not quite sure what to do with themselves. So this is just part of their routine that they've had their entire lives almost. We'll come back here. Okay, so the last step of sorting the goats out for milking is to put the kids away. And right now you have 4 of them chewing on the camera, well, on the tripod. So that's why you're shaky. But anyway, I've already put grain in their grain feeders. They have alfalfa. They like to go in there. They have a fresh bale of straw. It's kind of a special place for them to go. They are eager to go in. Whoa, whoa, hey, 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 hey. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna get to this and hopefully they don't knock you over and break you before I get them in. And we have 3 that are still on bottles, so they don't go in. They get to hang out and they come in and get in the way of the milking parlor. So, okay. Come on, baby, baby. Come on.